It is the Shepherdess at Harmony Farms, and we are about to enter March Madness on the farm. We have lambing coming, we have our rotation speeding up, we have our spring grazing plan going, and we are going to be moving the animals not once a week for winter, but we are updating to daily moves for spring and summer. But I'm not talking about any of that yet. Today I am coming at you with books on regenerative farming. These are some resources that proved really invaluable to me as I jumped into farming less than a year ago. So, without further ado, let's talk books on regenerative farming. Guys, the book that convinced me I wasn't crazy for wanting to be a farmer is now available at shopshepherdess.com. And I got permission from Polyface headquarters to do a read aloud for Salad Bar Beef on the Shepherdess podcast, so be watching for that in coming days. I am so excited. Top of the Stack is the first book I ever read on farming, and I picked up this book because it had two of my primary interests on it: cows and dollar signs. I knew nothing about regenerative agriculture, but I picked up Salad Bar Beef by Joel Salatin because it seemed to be the only book that was responding to this desire in me to make money off of cows. And once I got into it, I realized what regenerative agriculture was, how approachable it was as a model for a first-time farmer. And not to mention, this is the book that turned me into a shepherdess because I realized the principles of caring for cows, of managing livestock regeneratively, could be directly translated into the sheep that I was trying to ignore. It'll give you absolutely all you need to know to get started in farming, in my opinion. It tackles absolutely everything about managing a cow, from how to pick the cow, graze the cow, deworm the cow, all that stuff. You're gonna get it in this book. It's kind of thick, but like I said, I read it cover to cover. It inspired me, kept my attention from start to finish, and it gave me basically everything I needed to become a farmer. Once I read Salad Bar Beef, I followed it up with Management Intensive Grazing, because from reading Salad Bar Beef, I realized that pasture management is kind of the key to animal health, and I followed it up with this Management Intensive Grazing book. This was something that really just fortified everything I learned about in Salad Bar Beef, summarized it, and gave it back to me in greater detail, like more of why you graze this way, what the impact is. So this was a really good follow-up book for me to Salad Bar Beef, because as I was getting into livestock management, I was realizing pasture management is key to animal health. So, Management Intensive Grazing, The Grassroots of Grass Farming. Jim Garish. Read this one cover to cover as well. Third on my list is The Art and Science of Grazing by Sarah Flack. This book, it is incredible. Tons of pictures, and it was easy to read. It was broken up into sections that were really digestible, and then plus, pictures, of course. It was really good. Again, it just reinforced the reality that pasture management is the key to healthy livestock, and so forth. And so The Art and Science of Grazing by Sarah Flack was another one that I read cover to cover. Book number 4, Temple Grandin's Guide to Working with Farm Animals. Before this year, I had a hamster when I was 10. I don't even think you would say that I was an animal person, but I literally felt called to this livestock management thing, and I had to get a pretty quick education on how to be around animals and how to work with animals. And this book by Temple Grandin is another one that I read cover to cover, and it covers all the bases, basically, of animal handling, management, and touches on animal behaviors you want to watch for when you're around your livestock. So this was sort of a primer for me. Things to avoid, things to watch for. And it was another one that I read cover to cover. Grass Productivity by André Voisin. I have no idea if that's actually the way you pronounce his name. It's French. Alright guys, this has got a lot of good information in it, but this is about how far I made it into this book. It reinforced everything that I learned in the previous books, but I'm still trucking through it. I wanted to mention it because it's from the 17 or 1800s, so it kind of showed that these principles of regenerative agriculture and farming are timeless. I learned and grabbed some principles out of this with respect to grass management that were so powerful in just the first couple of chapters, so I feel like it's really worth it. It's good. Grass-Fed to Finish, a production guide to gourmet grass-fed beef. Again, this is about how far I've made it, but there are so many things in this that I've read in just the first couple of chapters that have already impacted my management and how I am growing out my grass-fed beef. It's by Alan Nation, and he actually interviews an Argentine grass feed and finishing expert, and it's just chock full of a lot of really good information on not only how to grow a good gourmet grass-fed beef product or grass-fed animal product. I don't think the principles in here are exclusive to beef. I'm doing lamb, so it's helping me a lot with those. But it's just got a lot of the hows and the whys of grass-fed. It even goes so far as to talk about the benefits health-wise of eating grass-fed beef, which for me is going to be a huge play in my marketing. I've been eating grass-fed beef for 13 years. I switched over 13 years ago. Never turned back. It's that incredible. But actually to read the science as to why I felt so good when I changed to this kind of meat was really eye-opening. So this was another one by Alan Nation. There are some things in these books like timelines, millions of years kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily align with my viewpoints as a creationist, so don't think that my reference to them is a reference to an agreement to everything that they contain. Quality Pasture. Didn't even get started on this one. I just felt like it was worth bringing up here. How to create it and manage it and profit from it. Quality Pasture by Alan Nation. Second edition. I'm excited to get into this, but I have not yet. And I'm just gonna say I'm mentioning it because as I got into farming less than a year ago, I realized that pasture management and forage management is going to give me the edge in this industry. And so this is a resource I'm excited to get into with that in mind. If you guys want a complete list of all of these books and where to buy them for 30% off, there is a website that I'm going to link to, and I'm not being paid for this at all. But put your email address down there and I'm going to send you a complete list of all of these books and where to buy them. There's a website that has made itself a leader in the resource provision industry. They emphasize resources surrounding holistic management, organic farming and stuff. So I'm gonna send you a link to this website, and I really want to encourage you guys to shop it instead of Amazon. I would absolutely hate to see this incredible website put out of business by our drive for Prime. So I'm gonna be sending you that list. I'm not being paid, I'm not being sponsored or anything. I just have found this website to be an incredible wealth of a resource, and I'm gonna share it with you.